wow, is it snowing. The wind's blowing. Something outside is thumping against the house. But we're inside the sewing shop. Welcome to my channel, Sewing Side Hustle. And in front of you, we have 4 yards of velvet. And this velvet costs about $25 to $30 a yard. And it's ruined. What happened was the bolt, one of these guys, was in there, and like this one, we got that in it. Or maybe worse, it ended up like this. Well, when that happens with a fabric like velvet, you end up with all these bolt wrinkles right down the center where that tube broke at. So right now, there's nothing. Okay, so what we have, and I'm going to get the camera and walk around it and show it, but in front of the camera I want to show it. We have a series of wrinkles here. So there was obviously a wrinkle in that bolt that carried through the entire 4 yards of this fabric. Okay. Here in the center, we have another series of wrinkles that run right. They're about this wide. They're almost identical. It almost looks like a repeat. And it runs right down the center, one right after another, all the way down the entire length of the 4 yards. Right here, we have from here all the way across a pretty serious bruise. This fabric will bruise. Here's some more bruising here. There's some, here's some here. There's an area right here where the bruise almost looks like it was wet. Alright, so I want to talk a little bit about velvet. I seen in a video earlier when I was doing my searching on what other people has to say about velvet, that there's a true conception. You shouldn't iron it. You should not iron velvet. So since this $100 piece of fabric is already ruined as it is, I'm going to make an attempt to bring it back to a place where it possibly could still be used for a drape, a small drape, what have you. So let's see. First thing I want to do is turn it over and iron a small area, a small section from the back. But before I do that, I want to bring the camera around up close and see if I can get some pretty decent shots of some of these wrinkles close up. Stand by. Well, I think I'm getting a pretty good shot of this. Shoot, there's some serious wrinkles in here. You can see again from this angle, you can see these wrinkles look almost like repeats, but they're not. Trying to ease around the table, get some good shots. These wrinkles are so bad, it looked like you could almost just block the drape and it would pull them out. And so, let's talk about that. If you hung this, some of these wrinkles may fall out of it. If you hung this and steamed it, some of them may come out of it. But there's no guarantee anything will get it fixed or get it where it's usable. Alright, so I think you've seen enough to see really how bad it is. Alright, so let me reposition the camera, talk a little bit more, and we'll see if we can fix this bad boy. Well, it's howling outside. They're saying that here in New Mexico, we're supposed to be getting 60 to 70, maybe some gusts of up to 80 miles an hour today. And at my house, it's full of snow. And the wind's blowing so hard, it's moving it faster than it can pile up. My fear is, where is it moving it to? Is it going to block me in again? But that's not what this video is about. This video is about this $100 piece of fabric, this velvet, golden velvet. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful, but ruined. So let's see if we can fix it. Before we do, however, I want to talk about velvet in general. I don't like it. I have a love-hate relationship with it, simply because it bruises, stains, lots of stuff happens to velvet just because of the nature of how it's made. Let me get back in front of the camera, sorry about that. It's my job to walk around and look for blemishes and lint, so it's kind of out of habit. So let's get back to the velvet. There's some velvet out there that I think is called French velvet or Italian velvet or something that is so sensitive it tears almost like napkin paper. Maybe not quite that easily, but almost. And you have to be so gentle with it. It will bruise. It's beautiful, and it makes beautiful work, but you have to be real careful with it. So anywhere you fold it, it's possible that it would get a wrinkle. So anywhere something gets laid on it or on a fold, could wrinkle it. You can bruise it ironing it. So, but normally if I had a piece of velvet that I needed to get a wrinkle out of because of whatever reason, I would start with the back. So I'm going to turn the camera off, turn this whole thing over, and let's see what happens when we iron the back. Alright, iron's hot. We're going to see what happens. And first we're just going to put the heat to it. Look at that, it's taking some out right off the bat there. Smoothing some out. Now we're going to steam it. Wow, look at that. So to find out for sure, we have to turn this over and see what the finished side looks like. Okay, I can see, because we didn't iron any further up than that, and I can see one tiny little spot right there, and I can see it over here. So I'm going to try to take that out. That's gone, all but gone now. Alright, so we want to really work this whole corner over, see what happens. Ooh, check that out. A tiny little bruise right there. Okay, so that tells me the first thing I need to do is to flip this entire piece of fabric over and iron it really good. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll get back with you. Alright, so I kind of cut my head off this time, but I want you to see the fabric more than me. And let's see what happens. Some steam going. Okay, so I've really ironed this little section right here about 2 yards back, and it's still where I originally showed those wrinkles, and these wrinkles on the very outside edge are not coming out as well as I had hoped. I'm going to give it one more pass, and then we're going to turn it and see what I can do from the other side. But at this point, I would say we've got probably 75%. I would say all the wrinkles out except for the very worst ones, which were right down the center here and down this edge. So this area here is looking real good. I got to work on this spot and this spot. So let me do it real quick, see what happens. Now, I need to get from here to here. I'm just going to go all the way one more time. I would really like to save this piece of fabric. I might want to make a Roman shade out of it. It's not upholstery fabric, and velvet comes in so many different grades. You can get it so lightweight, you can almost poke your finger through it, and then you can get it where it's relatively heavy, and that will be the fabric that they may make stage curtains for a big stage or something. Whatever. Alright, see what we got. Alright, well, let's recap. The camera died, so I'm having to start over. I want to make sure I got everything. So let's recap everything I've done. First thing that I want to talk about is the last thing I did is I tried to iron the face right here. And I wanted to see just how much it would take. And it don't take any. So this is all burned right here. This is definitely ruined, this spot right here. Let me move this bottle. This is a bottle of water. Alright, so that's a no-no. No iron to the face. Alright, again, we're working with velvet. Now, I couldn't use this fabric in the shape that it's in to make anything out of and send it out to a paying customer. However, if you had a pair of drapes made out of this, and this is drapery fabric, a lot of these wrinkles would fall out just simply from hanging and spraying them with something like wrinkled ease or wrinkle release. I think we got some around here. But and a steamer. If you get a professional drapery steamer, will raise the fibers and take out these bruises. And see, when I rub the face, and it looks like some of that might even rub out. The first thing we're going to do before we go to all of that trouble, because there's still some pretty decent dents here and there, and it doesn't take much to wrinkle this fabric. Just from setting this bottle right here, it's leaving a print. So, and this is definitely leaving a wrinkle. right where it's sitting. But all right, so let's do the last thing that I would do to try to save this piece of fabric so I could use it for a paying customer. We'll put this fabric on top to start with. We know we can't iron the face. And spray it down good with some water. This is a scented water if you can smell it. Nice, give it kind of liberal. Alright, then we're going to let the iron heat up and iron it. I'm going to start by ironing just one direction. Nice and slow. Then I'm going to hit it with some steam one time. Alright, well, let me give it the final critique. No, I can't save this piece of velvet well enough to use it for a paying job. However, I could save it well enough to use it for something personal or maybe give to a friend and make something out of it. But for a paying customer, I would not use this fabric. And I wouldn't charge anybody anything for anything I made out of this fabric. That being said, I'm going to bring the camera, I'm going to change it around and bring it over here and show the difference where I worked, where I haven't worked. We have a corner here. Well, let me get the camera. Alright, so remember, this is what we started with, and this is a different camera, so I don't know how well it's in focus or how well it's doing. This is my phone camera actually. So this is the corner that I ironed. Remember the very first one, I just kind of halfway turned the drape over and ironed that one corner, and you can still see all these bruises right here. There's some. There is some. You can still see some rub. Alright, so you can see the rub right there. Now I want to go over here and show, I put a lot of effort into this side. Right here is where I tried to iron the face with the iron, and you can see all of that. That burned. And it burned really quick, and I don't think I got it on film. I think the camera died right when I did that. Easing on up. With all that work, there's a bruise. Here's another bruise. And that wrinkle. And they go up the drape. I don't know if you can see them still, but they're there. And they go up the drape, almost like a repeat. There's another one right there. But the main thing that would stop me from using this fabric, if I can get it to show, is there's a bruise. See if I can find it. Right there. You can see it runs all the way over there. Here's another one here, and you can see it better without the camera. And over here in the light, when you get on this side, it's very obvious. It runs from right here all the way across. So that would stop me from using this for a paying customer. Again, however, if you had velvet drape that fell in the floor and got left over the weekend and ended up full of wrinkles, you can take it from something that looks like this to something that looks like this with just a little bit of effort. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. See ya.